You're a boy on the Mongolian steppe, and you don't have a name for what's about to happen to you yet. There's just a word forming in your chest. Gone. Your father, Yasuge, chieftain of the Borjigin, warrior men whisper about with respect. He's just eaten a meal at a Tatar camp. Hospitality, politics, the usual dance of the steppe. He rides home smiling, already planning your future. You're betrothed, a marriage arranged with a girl named Berta, sealed by your fathers, like men sealing a trade deal. Then the poison starts working. He barely makes it home. You run to him, you run so hard your lungs burn, and he's gone before you reach his side. Here's what nobody tells you about what happens next. The title, the throne, the family name, none of it protects you. The moment your father stops breathing, so does your claim to anything. Your own clan looks at your mother, looks at you and your siblings, and decides you're not worth feeding. They ride away and leave you to starve. You're Temujin. One day you'll be called Genghis Khan, but first you have to survive being nobody. The steppe doesn't care that you used to be somebody's son. Grass doesn't know your father's name. Winter doesn't either. Your mother, Hurlun, becomes the only wall between you and death. She was never even supposed to be here. She'd been married to another man, a merchant named Chilidu, before your father rode up one day and simply took her. Stole her like she was livestock, like she was a prize. Nobody asked Hurlun if she wanted to go either. Maybe that's the family curse. Maybe that's the family religion. Now she digs up roots with her bare hands. She catches fish with nets made of nothing. She feeds you and your brothers and half-brothers on scraps that wouldn't satisfy a dog. And somehow you all survive another season, and then another. You learn early that hunger changes people. It changes you. There's a half-brother in your tent named Begta, older than you, bigger than you. And in a family with nothing, bigger means first. First to eat, first to take what little there is, first to remind you exactly where you rank. You watch him take food from your mouth more than once. You watch him posture like he's already the man of a family that has no man left in it. Something hardens in you long before you're old enough to understand what's hardening. One day, out hunting with your full brother Kasar, you see Begta again, doing what he always does, taking, claiming, ranking you beneath him, and the boy who used to just clench his fists finally does something else instead. You kill him, your first murder. You're barely into your teenage years, still small enough that men could break you in half, and you've already decided that nobody, brother, uncle, king, gets to stand over you and take what's yours. Not again, not ever again. Hurlun is horrified. She screams at you, calls you a snake eating its own family, tells you that you've destroyed what little unity you had left. She's right, and you don't care, because something else is happening inside you, something that'll define the next 50 years. You've learned that the old order, where you rank by blood, by birth, by who came out of the tent first, that order nearly killed you. You're done bowing to it. Years pass on the margins of the steppe. You grow taller, harder, more watchful. And eventually the promise your father made before he died comes due. You go to collect the bride he arranged for you. Her name is Berta. And when you finally see her, something in your chest that had gone quiet for years, since your father's death, since the hunger, since Begta's blood on your hands, wakes back up. You marry her. For a handful of months, you let yourself believe the world might actually let you have something good. Then the merchants come. They ride in at night, and you barely escape with your life, scrambling up into rocky high ground while the raiders sweep through camp. When the dust settles, Berta is gone, taken, and here's the detail that'll haunt you for the rest of your life if you let it. The merchants didn't take her randomly. They took her because your own father once stole a merchant bride, Hurlun herself, and this is the debt coming due, one generation later, paid in your wife instead of hers. You didn't choose this war. Your father chose it for you, decades before you were even born. But you're the one who has to fight it. You go to two men for help. The first is Togrul, called Ong Khan, chief of the Keret, your father's own blood brother, a man who owes your family an old debt of loyalty. The second is Jamuka, your childhood Anda, your blood brother in the truest steppe sense, the boy you swore oaths with before either of you grew a beard. Both men say yes. Together, the three of you ride against the merchants, and you get her back. Berta comes home to you, but she doesn't come home unchanged, and neither do you. There'll be questions later, about a son born not long after her return, about whose blood runs in that boy, questions you'll never fully answer, not to your generals, not to history, maybe not even to yourself in the dark hours before sleep. You bury the question. You have an empire to build. For years, you and Jamuka ride together like two halves of the same weapon. You share fires, share plans, share the kind of silence that only exists between men who trust each other completely. But you're not the same, and the crack starts small. Jamuka believes in the old way. Nobles rule because they were born nobles, blood is destiny, a man's father decides his ceiling. You've watched that exact belief system leave a widow and her children to starve on the steppe. You start pulling talented men up around you regardless of what tent they were born in. Herders, hunters, men with nothing, men like you used to be. You reward skill, you reward loyalty. You don't reward blood alone. To Jamuka, this looks like you're burning down the entire world that makes sense to him. A faction of Mongols proclaims you Khan, not all of them, just enough to terrify your oldest friend. Jamuka's answer is 30,000 men riding at you in fury and fear at a place called Dalan Baljut. You're not ready. You're not close to ready. The battle breaks against you like a wave against a reed hut, and you run, scattered, humiliated, alive only because you're fast and the steppe is big. What follows is a decade that history barely remembers and you'll never fully describe to anyone. You rebuild in silence. You gather men one at a time, in tents, at wells, in the dark. You learn patience the hard way, the only way it's ever really taught. Togrul, your father's blood brother, becomes your patron again during these years, until he doesn't. There's a marriage alliance proposed between your families, a bridge of peace. You ride to it in good faith, and you learn just in time that Togrul intended to use that bridge as an ambush to kill you the moment your guard was down. You survive that too, and when the reckoning finally comes at a place called the Jeja Heights, Togrul's Kerit forces break, and an old family debt of loyalty dies along with the alliance. Jamuka, meanwhile, has drifted from ally to ally, fighting you, then not, then allying with Togrul against you, a man increasingly without a home, exactly as your family once was. Eventually, his own men turn on him and hand him to you in chains. You look at the boy who once swore blood oaths with you across a fire, now a grown man kneeling in the dirt of a war you both built together and then destroyed together. Jamuka doesn't beg. He doesn't deny what he's done. He tells you plainly that he betrayed you, that there's no path back from it. And he asks for one mercy, a noble's death, a bloodless death, the kind that doesn't spill his rank into the dirt with his blood. You grant it. You don't smile when it's done, some debts you pay by ending them. In 1206, the tribes kneel. All of them. Every rival who once called you nobody now calls you Genghis Khan, universal ruler. You're already a man well into middle age by the standards of your world, a man who's buried a father, a brother, a friend, and an old order, one piece at a time, to get here. You could rest. You don't know how. Years later, with Mongolia unified behind you, you turn your attention outward, toward trade, not conquest. There's a vast empire to your west, the Khwarezmian Shah's domain, spanning lands you've never seen and peoples who've never heard your name spoken in fear. And you want peaceful commerce with it, not war. You send a caravan, hundreds of merchants, mostly Muslim traders from lands already under your rule, to a border city called Otrar to open honest trade. The governor of Otrar, a man tied by blood to the Shah himself, seizes the entire caravan, executes them, nearly all of them. One man survives to crawl back across the desert and tell you what happened to the others. You don't immediately declare war. You send envoys instead, ambassadors, a formal demand that the governor be handed over for justice, man to man, ruler to ruler. The Shah's answer is to kill your lead envoy and send the others back shaved, humiliated, stripped of dignity. A message that there'll be no justice, no negotiation, nothing but contempt for you and everyone you sent. Something in you goes very quiet. Quiet the way the steppe goes quiet before a storm that nobody alive has ever survived. You finish your business in China first. You're disciplined even in your fury. And then, in the autumn, you ride west with 100,000 men in 3 great columns, and you don't stop at Otrar. You break it. You break the next city and the one after that. The Shah, the man who murdered your merchants and mocked your ambassadors. He doesn't stand and fight you. He runs. You send your 2 finest generals, Jebe and Subutai, men who came up from nothing the same way you did, with tens of thousands of riders, for one purpose: find him. They chase him to the edge of the world. He dies alone in exile on a barren island in the Caspian Sea, sick and broken, a Shah with an empire and no home in it. His son, Jalal al-Din, picks up the war his father started and abandoned. You finish it at the Indus River, where his army breaks and he swims, alone, a prince become a fugitive, across the water to save his life, leaving his empire behind him in ash. It ends the way it began, with justice you tried to get peacefully, denied to you and paid for in total. Decades later, they still call you the man who ended the old world's rules. Meritocracy over bloodline, a woman's stolen honor repaid a generation later in blood, a friendship broken because 2 boys grew into men who wanted different worlds. Your sons, Yochi, Chagatai, Ogedei, Tolui, inherit an empire built from a childhood with nothing. You choose Ogedei to carry it forward, not your eldest. And there are questions about that too. Questions about Jochi's blood. Questions about whether father and son ever truly made peace. Questions you take with you when you die on campaign. Far from home, the exact cause already blurring into legend before your body is even cold. They'll bury you somewhere no one is ever allowed to find. No monument, no marker, just steppe grass growing over a grave that belongs only to the world that made you. The same world that once let you starve as a boy with nothing, and then watched you take almost all of it. You think somewhere in that last quiet moment about a boy running toward his dying father, too late to say goodbye. You think you've spent every year since then making sure you were never too late again. We survived. We did more than survive. If this kind of journey into the minds that built and broke empires is what you're here for, subscribe, because there are a lot more lives like this one worth living, at least for the length of a video.